Mahlzeit und herzlich willkommen at Ride Review Video Magazine at Knoebels.
Okay, so would you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Sure, my name is Brian Knoebel. We are standing here in the middle of Knoebels Amusement Resort in Ellisburg, Pennsylvania.
So tell us just a few words about the long history of Knoebels.
So this is our 92nd year. Knoebels opened in 1926, many years ago. We started where there were two creeks that came together, two streams, and my ancestors would feed and stable your horses for the day for 25 cents, US of course. And he started to build some picnic tables and some park benches. And little by little, then he would get a steam-powered carousel. We put in a almost 1 million gallon swimming pool with a, complete with a filtration system. And little by little, we have grown. We are now at about 63 or 64 rides. We have about 38 food stands, very unique food stands. We have about 25 games. We are free admission. We are free parking, free entertainment, and free picnic area.
Great. So why did you decide to stay at the free admission concept?
A lot of our fans, a lot of our guests, we remind our fans of former amusement parks. When amusement parks were free admission, now a lot of these corporate parks have put up a fence, a gate, and they charge admission. They can make more money that way. We get more satisfaction out of allowing our guests to come in free. Grandma and Grandpa enjoy it much more when they can come to Knoebels for free. They're on a limited budget. They're retired and they can watch their grandchildren ride rides. Grandma and Grandpa might ride our hand-carved wooden carousel where you can still catch the brass ring, and they can ride our antique cars, and they'll ride our Pioneer train. And they can do that for just merely a few dollars, where at other parks, they would pay for parking, and they would pay $60 just to get into the park. Here, they can do that for just a few dollars.
Yeah, that's a great concept, I think. So you had so many attractions here. One of the most popular attractions, I think, is Flying Turns. So you had a little bit of problems with this coaster. Can you tell me something about that?
The Flying Turns actually took about 7 years from the time that it started.
That's kind of a record, is it?
It is. People say, tell Dick Knoebel you can't do something, and he's going to make it happen. Very determined to make this happen. The Flying Turns were kind of popular. I think there was 5 in the US at one time. And I mean, we got hit with a few floods. So we have 2 creeks that go through the park still to this day. So we had 1 or 2 floods during the time. We had to redesign the cars 2 different times, like trains, 2 different times. We had to, we had used cypress as a lumber. That's as a wood. It's 3 layers, 2 layers of southern yellow pine that was treated lumber, and the top layer being cypress. And we had some problems with it. So we took out that whole top layer, found a different way to treat that top layer of southern yellow pine till we finally got it. And then many runs later, a lot of test runs, and more weight in the front, more weight in the back, and then most weight in the middle. And we did, I think, well over 1,000 test runs until we finally opened it to the public. So today we can say we are the only amusement park in the world that has a Flying Turns, a wooden trough Flying Turns coaster.
How often do you have to retrack this coaster?
There are, good question, how often do we have to retrack it? We have never had to completely retract the Flying Turns. We have had to, well, I should say, retract the trough. How do you want to word that, right? Because it's trackless, so you can't retract something.
Yeah.
So it's tongue and groove lumber, and we replace pieces from here or there. One might need a few more screws. One might need removed because it had a knot in it, like where a stick was growing out of it when it was a tree. So we've had to do just minor repairs. So it's I'm not going to say it's maintenance free, but there's much more maintenance involved in the Phoenix and in the Twister.
So you had more old coasters that are now gone. The larger ones, I think there were another some other wooden coasters? That
So in about 1976, I believe, we put in a Jetstar.
Yeah.
And the
that
Jetstar was here, and we ended up selling that to another amusement park. And because our guests, we would ask the fans, and they want to go upside down. So we bought a Vekoma Whirlwind, and we put the Whirlwind in, and then we sold that to an amusement park / children's hospital in Costa Rica. So that ride is now in Costa Rica, and so which made room for the flying turns. We also had what some people call a kiddie coaster, but it was the Overland high-speed thrill coaster. We had that coaster for years, and just due to some metal fatigue, it was time to have that replaced. So we went with a friend of ours, Fred Myler, from here in the U.S., and Fred designed a custom-built kid coaster, family coaster for us, which is that opened, I don't know, 8 years ago. So, and that's a very popular ride for us as well.
So why did you decide to put away the Jetstar? Because we love the Jetstar.
The Jetstar's a fun ride, isn't it? I miss it. I miss
Really?
the Helix. I miss. It's a great ride. It really was. But like I said, a lot of times we go out into the park and we'll stop our fans, and of course now with social media and Facebook,
Yeah,
and we
social
ask
media.
what people want, and they wanted to go upside down.
Okay.
I know, I understand. I'd love to ride it again as well.
The Impulse
Yes.
is the one from Zira, is it?
It is, yes.
And it usually is a coaster that Gerstlauer is building.
Correct.
Why did you decide to let it build from Zira?
So, what a fun trip. So my older brother Rick and my cousin Trevor and one of our lead ride technicians, Jim Martini, the four of us hopped on an airplane and we flew around different places riding roller coasters. One of the few perks of being a Knoebel. And we talked to Gerstlauer, and we gave a lot of companies a footprint and a budget. And little by little, the manufacturers' process of elimination, they started to disappear. So Gerstlauer, it came down to 2 or 3 companies. Gerstlauer was in those top ones. Zira was very hungry. They were always here. They were really I don't know, the park that stood out at us, like they really wanted to do this. So maybe Gerstlauer and Zira are very close to where the two of you are from. I'm not really sure. But yeah, so we finally pulled the trigger on going with a Zira. So it's a lot of fun. It is very, very similar to the Eurofighter. Yeah. So we rode a couple of them, and we were I think we were in New England, we were in Texas, we were in Minnesota. I love the one at Dollywood. Pete Owens is a very good friend of mine, and Mystery Mine. I love the coaster. So it's much more lengthy than ours, much more expensive than ours. But it's a nice. So we're really, Impulse is here, and the fans seem to love it.
Yeah, absolutely. We are surprised because we thought it would be not that good.
When you look at it, it's small, right? But boy, it really packs a punch in that little space.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there are at least 5 different elements in the ride, and we love the 90-degree lift. I think that's an element by itself. It's that anticipation of going up the lift hill.
Yeah.
When are we going to get to the top? When are we going to get to the top? And then you finally get there, and then you better hang on.
Yeah. And what are the future plans of Knoebels?
What are the future plans? I can't tell you that. No, that's in a vault, right? So some of the things we talk about. So there are 6 active Knoebel family members. There are 3 in the 3rd generation. I'm in the 4th generation. So my brother and my cousin, and we any other business would call it a board of directors meeting, and we don't. We call it a family meeting because we are a family first. I said that one time at a roller coaster event. Got a standing ovation because of it. So we're proud to say that we're a family first. There are no conversations that ever take place about putting a gate around Knoebels. There are no conversations about doing anything that would change who we are. We like to be that throwback park, that walk down memory lane for some people, A lot of times we're stamping hands, we're putting wristbands on people, we're selling tickets, and people are like, don't ever change, don't ever change. You remind me of this park or that park. You know, I grew up in Chicago and you remind me of different parks, and it's wonderful to hear how much, so they can tell their kids about it, or grandchildren, what it was like when they went to these various parks. So we take a lot of pride in that. Just certain charming things. We're trying to, we grew so big, so fast since we installed the Phoenix in 1985, that went in. So in 1986 we got a little busier, 1987 we got a lot busier, 1988. And so now we're even trying to go back, and we just really grown. And I mean, it's infrastructure, it's water lines, and it's more electricity, and in today's day and age it's fiber optic. So it's one of the neat things about having the stone as opposed to having a concrete jungle like other amusement parks. It's kind of easy to dig something up and do a little work with the infrastructure. And our fans, they're like, don't put in too much macadam, too much asphalt. Leave it stones and plant lots of trees, and don't change. You know, keep doing what you're doing. Don't put up a gate. Okay, we won't. We'll listen to you.
Okay. So that's a good idea to just stay like you are, because it's very special, I think, here in this area in America at all to do it like that.
It is. We're always shopping. We're always looking what could be unique for Knoebels, what would fit.
Yeah.
We love those old Mangles rides or the old Alan Herschel rides that a lot of our fans remembered as kids when they went to their local park. I think someone told me there were actually 17 parks within a 100-mile radius of Knoebels. I was told that one time, and it's a shame that they're not around anymore. But when they come here, we kind of remind them of those parks, and they rode a lot of the rides. That, we picked them up, we purchased them, and we have a very talented team. They strip these rides down and take it apart piece by piece and paint them and get them back up and open them up for the guests. And we do a little unveiling surprise, and people love it.
So some last words for our viewers. What do you want to tell them?
So please come visit us. We are in Central Eastern Pennsylvania, here in the United States of America. Again, you can just park, and it's a free admission. It's really a lot of fun. I won't let you down. We as a family won't let you down. Like I said, tremendous staff. I'm proud to say that we have about 2,300 team members here at Knoebels. We're open about 130 days a year, and they will welcome you with open arms. They love the park every bit as much as my family does.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
That was amazing.
Sure, absolutely.